Good afternoon, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for Sunday, August 24, 2025. And in the news this afternoon, Manchester police are probing suspected drowning of toddler. The Manchester police are investigating the circumstances surrounding the suspected drowning of a 17-month-old boy in the parish on Friday night. The deceased has been identified as Levante Lewis from the community of Hollywood in Norwood, St. James. The infant is believed to have drowned in a swimming pool at Downs in Newport, Manchester, about 11 p.m., reports say. His body was retrieved and later removed to the morgue. The matter was reported to the Alligator Pond Police and an investigation is now underway. PNP vows a reform of rural school bus program to boost efficiency. The opposition People's National Party says it would overhaul the government's $1.4 billion rural school bus program to ensure greater input from school administrators and more targeted support for children most in need if it forms the next government. The rural school bus program is set to be rolled out when the new academic year begins in September, but has become a lightning rod during the ongoing campaign for the September 3 general election. Damien Crawford, opposition spokesman on education, noted that the organized movement of students is a wonderful concept, but slapped the execution of the program as highly inefficient. One thing that will immediately discontinue is one that doesn't incorporate the principals, the guidance counselors, and be more targeted in ensuring that those who are finding it most difficult to get to school are able to get to school, in particular deep rural children, he said. Crawford was speaking on Saturday during the first of 3 nationally televised debates between the governing Jamaica Labour Party and the PNP, which focused on social issues. The JLP pushed back at Crawford's suggestion, arguing that the rural school bus program will save parents $180,000 annually per child, ensure students get to school safely, and increase attendance. Why not? It's best for the country, said Pernell Charles Jr., the Minister of Labor and Social Security, who was a member of the JLP's team. The Jamaica Labour Party is doing what the PNP has not and cannot do. We want to keep our children safer, he added. But Crawford believes that very few children would be moved because of what he described as the ineffectiveness of the rural school bus program as proposed under the JLP. There are over 440,000 students to be transported, the opposition spokesman on education asserted. And at this point, those buses would be best capable of moving 4,000 and 8,000 on each day, indicating that the vast majority of children will still not benefit from that program, he said. In a further rebuttal, Charles Jr. said the rural system is best funded by savings from cutting JUTC losses. He also said the government is buying 110 new buses. The policy is for used buses. The PNP has insisted that the used buses under the government's policy are not suited for the country's hilly terrain and will cost millions of dollars in maintenance. The latest RGR Glenardon Anderson poll, released last week, shows that a majority of Jamaicans back the government's rural school bus system over the opposition's cash voucher proposal. According to the survey, 55.1% of respondents support the bus plan, while 34.2% favor the People's National Party's initiative and 10.7% remain undecided. Quality academics shuttered. Several students have been left in limbo after Quality Academics, a long-standing private educational institution with more than 200 pupils on roll, announced its sudden closure at its 77 Halfway Tree Road location in St. Andrew. The school's lease, held on a property owned by Holy Childhood Preparatory School, has been terminated, forcing the institution to cease operations. In a letter dated August 12, 2025, Administrators informed the parents of the immediate discontinuation of all-day, evening and Saturday programs. We had been operating at this location with this model since 2015, but our lease has been terminated, and so we must move, the letter read. Quality Academics is saddened by the closure, the shorter notice, and the later decision, but we had very little choice. Following the announcement, staff spent much of last week reaching out to parents and students to assist with finding alternative placement. Administrators also confirmed they are working alongside the Ministry of Education to address the disruption. Despite these efforts, many parents were left in a state of panic, scrambling to secure new schools for their children ahead of the new academic year. While some were successful, others left the Quality Academics office frustrated and uncertain, many accompanied by confused and anxious children. In addition to the displaced students, approximately 30 full-time and part-time staff are now seeking alternative employment. The news was especially shattering, they said, against the demands of the back-to-school season. Wayne Robinson, founder of Quality Academics, which was founded in 1998, described the decision as impromptu, unfair, and unfortunate. He noted that attorneys representing the school have started their assessment of the matter in furtherance of possible court action. In the meantime, we know battles can take a long time, and so we are doing our best to make sure that the children are placed in other schools. That is the process that I'm going through now. Then after that, I look at the staff before clearing out of the place, said Robinson, who is the principal of Jamaica College. We have placed some students already, but you know, finding space for all the students is not going to be easy, especially when schools are already at a capacity. Quality Academics has been a savior for thousands of Jamaican students. If you look at the history of what we have done, it will confirm this. So it is very unfortunate. There are issues there that are definitely legal, he charged, as he expressed his sadness over the students' predicament. However, Daniel Archer, chairman of Holy Childhood Preparatory School, pushed back against Robinson's claim that the decision was sudden. Be advised that Quality Academics were given notice 3 years ago, Archer told the news. The contract did not require a reason for termination. However, the prep school requires the space for additional students. Quality Academics were using part of the school. Archer added that the timeline should have allowed the Quality Academics ample time to plan their next steps. I am sure we have our documentation to show that we executed according to the contract, she said. Asked about the 3-year notice Archer mentioned, Robinson responded, "As I said, it is a legal matter, and it will come out in the legal issues what is valid and what is not. Importantly, we have had discussions about this. This is not a new thing. Archer was not in the last meeting that we had, but we've had discussions about this, and they know exactly what is happening." Senior staff at Quality Academics expressed a deep disappointment over the closure, noting not only the disruption of learning, but also the loss of long-standing relationships with the students and the parents. Principal Annette Smith was unable to confirm how many students had been successfully placed, but said the Ministry of Education was actively involved. On our part, we have good interpersonal relationships with schools, so many of the schools are accommodating our students, she explained, adding that the students were in grades 7 to 13. Smith noted that the school was doing all it could to assist the parents with documentation needed for transfers. However, she acknowledged that many had already purchased the uniforms and the supplies, which would now go to waste. Sharon Hunt, head of the Education Ministry's Independent Schools Unit, which oversees privately run education institutions such as Quality Academics, said she was aware of the situation and would be meeting with stakeholders in the coming weeks. Until then, she could not provide the details. "Until I carry it before a committee, I cannot speak to it," she told the news. The Ministry of Education is responsible for education in the country, and for any child that needs to be placed in an educational institution, regardless of the reason behind the need for the placement. The ministry will work assiduously to ensure every child is placed in an environment conducive to education. Parents continue to feel the strain. Terry and Erskine, whose daughter passed the 7 Caribbean secondary education certificate subjects, getting 5 grade 1s in the process, said she was caught off guard by the closure and has since been trying to secure a spot at Wolmer's girls' school. With space proving limited, she is considering an alternative 6th form placement at Excelsior High School, as suggested by Smith, though her daughter is not enthusiastic about the option. Meanwhile, Anisha Simpson, mother of a 16-year-old boy entering 11th grade, described the process as exhausting. Her son was eventually placed at a Greater Life Academy in St. Andrew, but not without difficulty, she said, lamenting that she had to be going back and forth between Quality Academics, the MOE, and the Greater Life Academy. I was just annoyed at the whole process because of all the running up and down to have him placed in another school, having to pay another registration fee, pay more money in school fees, and then on top of that, I have to find uniforms for him. I have no clue what could have been done differently, but that was just so last minute, said Simpson. Some students speculated last week that the lease termination may have been linked to disruptive behavior by peers. However, Robinson denied this, saying no such complaints were ever officially made. Guys, thank you for watching. See you this evening at 6 p.m. for another news update.